Hi, my name is Annie, and on this video I'm going to show you how to crochet these super cute daisy granny squares. This video is made for beginners, so I'm going to go super slow and try to explain everything very clearly so that you can make your very first daisy granny square. I'm so glad to have you here. So for your granny square, you are going to need, first of all, yarn. I have here my yarn. I have a yellow and a white for my daisy because I'm making this traditional daisy flower. And then I have a background color, which is the beige. Now, if you wanted to, you could really pick any colors you wanted to. If you want to make a different kind of flower, feel free to. But since I'm making the traditional daisy, these are the colors that I picked. The yarn that I'm using today is this Hobby rainbow cotton yarn. I think this is a DK weight yarn. If you're very new to crochet, I would maybe start with the DK, like this one, or even a worsted weight yarn. I wouldn't really go with anything thinner because it's just going to be a little bit harder to see your stitches and harder to work with that thinner yarn, in my opinion. Next thing you're going to need is a crochet hook. Excuse me. And your yarn is going to tell you what size of a hook you need. So just check the packaging for that. And then I'm gonna need scissors, and I'm also going to need a yarn needle. Now I'm going to show you in this video how you can take care of most of your yarn ends as you go, so that you don't have tons of ends to weave in at the end, but there are still a couple of ends that we need to weave in at the end, so that's what we need the yarn needle for. So I'm going to start my square with this yellow one because I am starting with the middle part of the daisy. And I'm going to start by making a slip knot. And the way I do this is I hold my yarn here. Here's the yarn end. And I'm going to wrap that yarn around my finger like that. And I take that loop off my finger, and then I bring this yarn from here, from behind, and bring a little loop through that loop, and I tighten it. Then I put it on my hook, and I tighten a little more. Okay. You want it to be snug, but like it still needs to be moving, so don't make it super tight. If you need to see that slip knot again, feel free to go back and watch that part again. So after I have my slip knot, my yarn is attached to my hook, I am going to chain 4. And the way we chain is we bring our yarn, bring our hook behind our yarn. It's called the yarn over. And we bring the yarn through that loop on our hook. So bring my hook behind the yarn and bring that yarn through the loop. Now I've chained 2. One more. There we go. And one more. Okay, now I have chained 4. I can count them. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now I'm going to bring the ends together to make a little ring out of this. So I'm going to take my hook and I'm going to insert it here in the very first stitch. So just one of these loops right here. show you that again. So the very first stitch, just bring my hook through here, grab my yarn, bring it through that loop, and then bring it through the other one. Okay, now I have a little ring here, although it might be a little hard to see. So you might want to loosen up your ring just a little bit until you see that there's the middle part to the ring. And I'm going to chain 2. 1 and 2. And now I'm going to work double crochets all around my ring. This chain 2 here is going to count as my first double crochet. So double crochet, a very basic stitch in crochet. I'm going to show you how to do that. So we are going to yarn over. So bring my hook behind my yarn again. I insert my needle, my hook in the middle part of the ring. Grab that yarn so that I have 3 loops on my hook. Yarn over, I pull through 2. Yarn over, and I pull through 2. So there is my first actual double crochet. I'm going to show you again. Yarn over, insert in the middle, grab the yarn, bring it through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So now I got 3 in total. And you're going to notice you have this yarn end here from your initial slip knot. I like to hold that yarn end together with the ring here so that it gets worked inside the ring, and it's just one less thing that I need to take care of at the end. So now we're going to work around this ring to make 12 double crochet in total. This first one, remember, counts as 1 double crochet. So 12 in total. I'm going to show you one more double crochet. So yarn over, insert in the middle, grab the yarn, bring it through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Here we go. I have 4 in total. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to need 8 more. So I'm going to work around the ring to make 12 double crochet in total, including that first chain 2. And I'm going to meet you back right here. Okay, I have my 12 double crochet here. I'm just going to count them just to make sure. I'm using my yarn needle to count. I like to use, either my hook or a yarn needle, so it makes it a little bit easier. So 1 is 1, which is our initial chain 2 here. It counts as 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So I got 12 in total. And now I'm going to bring together this ring or this circle. And here is our initial chain 2. I'm not going to insert my needle into this. I'm going to insert my needle into this first stitch that's kind of like on the outside of the circle. So let me show you. I'm going to insert right there in that first stitch that's on the outside. Insert my hook through both of these loops, grab the yarn, bring it through those, and bring it through the loop on my hook. Next I'm going to go ahead and cut my yarn. You do want to leave like a few inches here, just because it's easier to take care of this yarn end when you have something to work with. Okay, I'm gonna grab that yarn, bring it one more time through. It's just fast enough. Okay. I'm gonna count my stitches one more time because I'm gonna be sad later if I miscounted earlier. So I can also count them on the outside. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. This last one might be hiding here just a little bit, but it is still there. Okay. Before I start with my second color, I am going to show you how to take care of this end here. Now, to weave in ends, I always like to go to at least 2 different directions, sometimes 3, but 2 is pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my work. This is the back side. You can recognize it by this initial yarn end here. It's on the back side. And I'm going to the stitch that's right next to this yarn end here. I'm going to insert my hook through the back loop only. It's called the back loop because it's on the back side of the work. And I'm gonna bring that yarn through that loop. And again, I'm gonna go to the next stitch, back loop only, and bring the yarn through. Next one, bring the yarn through. So I'm gonna go like this for just a few stitches. There we go, that's pretty good. And then I'm going to pull my work a little bit to make sure that I was not pulling that yarn too tight when I was pulling it through the loops. Okay. So here's the middle part of my daisy. And now I'm gonna need my second color, which in my case is going to be this white. And I'm going to attach the white to the yellow. And the way I do it is again slip knot. So hold my yarn over my finger, wrap it around, take off the loop, and just bring another loop through like that. Put it on my hook, tighten again, not too tight but still nice and snug. And now technically I could attach this yarn on any of these stitches, but because I want to keep weaving in this end as I go, I'm going to see where this yarn, this yellow yarn end is, and insert my hook in this very same stitch. There we go. So through both of those loops on the outside, grab my yarn, pull it through, and also pull it through that loop on my hook. Here we go. I find it easier to turn my work at this point and just hold that stitch and tug that end just a little bit to make sure that it's nice and secure there. So we're going to start working on our petals. As you can see here, our petals are formed by these 3, I think the stitch is called the treble crochet cluster, because it's working treble crochets and bringing them together at the end. So 3 of these, and we bring them together. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to start by chaining 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And I'm gonna work my first actual treble crochet here. So before, when we did double crochet, we did yarn over once, but now we're going to do yarn over twice, so that I have 3 loops on my hook. I'm gonna insert my hook in the same stitch where I attach my yarn, grab that yarn, bring it through, go yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. And now we stop here. We got 2 loops on our hook, but we stop here so that we can bring this together at the end. And I'm gonna do another one. So yarn over, insert in the same stitch, grab my yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So now I have my 3 triple crochet. The first chain 3 counts as my first one, and I have 3 loops here on my hook. So I'm gonna yarn over one more time and bring it through all 3. And here's my first petal. And before I start the next one, I'm going to chain 2. So 1 and 2. So between each petal we chain 2. And I'm going to make the next one. And I'm going to hold this yellow yarn together with that stitch that I insert my hook into, so that it gets worked inside my work. And I don't need to worry about weaving it in. So now we're going to start with an actual treble crochet. Here we chained, but we're going to start by yarn over twice, insert the hook, grab my yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And another one, yarn over twice, bring the yarn through, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over twice, grab my yarn, and again pull through 2 and pull through 2. So now I got my 3 trebles here for my petal, and as you can see I have 4 loops on my hook. Before we had 3, if you remember. That was because the first one is a little different with the initial chain 3. So for all of these other petals, we're gonna have 4 loops on our hook when we're done. So just gonna yarn over and pull through all 4. And I'm going to chain 2. Now I like to stop here after the first 2 petals. I pull that loop a little bit bigger because I want to take care of this yarn end here, the white one that we just attached. And I'm going to do the exact same thing I did before. So I turn my work so that I'm on the back side, and I'm going to go to the next stitch and pull this yarn through the back loops only, just for a few stitches here. Cut this yarn a little too short, or it was a little too short when I made my slip knot, so it's a little bit harder, but that's okay. Okay, there you go. Pull my work again a little bit, make sure it's not too tight. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work around the middle part and make 12 petals in total. And now I have here this yellow yarn end that I keep holding here together with those stitches as I go, so it gets worked inside my work. And once I get here where this white yarn end is, I'm gonna do the exact same thing. So I'm just gonna hold it together so that it gets weaved in this other direction as well, and it disappears inside the daisy. So I'm just gonna show you one more petal, yarn over twice, insert my hook, grab the yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over twice, insert my hook, grab the yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. And one more, yarn over twice, insert my hook, grab the yarn, and pull through 2, and pull through 2. And when I have 4 here, 4 loops on my hook, I yarn over and pull through all 4 of them, and I chain 2 like that. Okay, so now you can keep working around the middle part to make 12 petals in total, and I will meet you right here after your last petal. All right, I have my 12 petals. I'm just going to count them just in case. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And here's my last petal. I will chain 2 as always. And now I'm going to insert my needle into the space between the first 2 petals. Here, grab my yarn, pull it through like that. I've really found that to be the best way to close the daisy. And we cut the yarn, and then I'm going to pull that yarn through just one more time to fasten off. Here's our daisy. Doesn't look much like a daisy yet. Kind of looks more like a fried egg, but don't worry, it's gonna start looking like a daisy once we add the square around it. So now, because I'm taking care of my ends, as you can see, those yarn ends very nicely disappeared inside the daisy. I just need to cut these little pieces off at the end. So I'm going to do the same thing I did before. So I go on the back side, and I just keep bringing that yarn through the back loops only. This is most certainly not the only way to do it. And you could definitely leave all the ends and just weave them in at the end. And if you forget to take care of an end, that is a-okay. You can just weave it in at the end. So not a big deal at all. But I've tried different ways, and I have found this to work the best for me. So just keep weaving it in. There we go. Just pull my work again a little bit. So next we're gonna work our granny square around the daisy. So I'm going to bring in my background color. And as you might have guessed, I'm gonna start with the slip knot. So wrap it around my finger and just bring a loop through that other loop. And now again, I could really start anywhere around this daisy, but since I want to take care of this yarn and here, I am going to attach my yarn to the very same space where this yarn end is here. So just insert it into that space, grab the yarn, pull it through, and pull it through that loop. And again, I like to turn my work and just pull that tail to make it tighter. So now I'm going to start by chaining 2. 1 and 2. And I'm gonna start with my first corner here. So how I'm going to work my corner is I'm going to do 3 double crochets, and this first chain 2 already counts as my first double crochet. So I'm going to do 2 more double crochets. So I showed that a little bit slower. So yarn over, insert my needle in the very same space, grab that yarn, bring it through. I have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So there's my 3 double crochets, including that first chain 2. Next I'm going to chain 2 again, 1 and 2, and then I'm going to work 3 more double crochets into this very same space. Here's my first one. Second one. And my third double crochet. So now you can already kind of see the corner there. Thanks to my 2 chain 2 that I chained in the middle, it looks like a corner. So I have 3 double crochet, chain 2, and 3 double crochet. And next I'm going to work half double crochets in these next 2 spaces, holding this yarn behind my work as always. So half double crochet, we start exactly the same way we would start a double crochet. So yarn over, bring my hook through the space, grab my yarn, bring it through. So I have 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, I pull all through all 3. That's half double crochet. Yarn over, bring my hook, grab the yarn, yarn over, and pull through 3 loops. So yarn over, insert my hook, bring the yarn through, and pull through all 3. So I have 3 half double crochet in that space, and I'm going to work 3 more in the next space. Okay, here we go. So I have my corner here, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, 3 half double crochets, and 3 half double crochets. And in the next one, I'm gonna make my next corner. But before I get there, once again, I'm gonna go and take care of this yarn end. So exactly the same way as before. I just pull it through these back loops for a little bit. This figuring how to take care of these yarn ends, it is making my life so much easier. Okay, that's good. So I'm going to show you how to make that corner. When you insert your hook back in, see, I put it the wrong way just now. You want to make sure that this, when you pull the yarn, it sort of flows through the front like that. Okay, so I'm ready to start my next corner. So I'll do 3 double crochet straight into that space. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, and I'm going to make 3 more double crochet in that very same space. There we go. So here's my second corner, and now I'm gonna keep going just exactly the same way. So in the next 2, 3 half double crochet on each, make my next corner, 3 half double crochets in the next 2, make my final corner, and then 3 half double crochets here in this last 2 spaces. And as always, I'm holding my yarn here and the back so it gets worked inside my square. So feel free to go back if you need to see how to make the half double crochets, and keep working around your daisy until you get to this very last 3 half double crochets here. I'll meet you right here. Okay, I am here back to my first corner. So I just did my last 3 half double crochet here. So now I'm going to go ahead and attach or bring this square together. And here's my initial chain 2 again, and I'm going to go under this very first stitch on the outside of the square. So through both of those loops, and then I'll just bring the yarns through. Now, if you wanted to, you could very well finish here. This would be your granny square, or you could add more rounds around it. I'm going to add 1 more round around my daisy. So what I want to do is I want to get to this corner here. I'm still a little bit far away from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip stitch, it's called slip stitch, to this next stitch. So here's the stitch that I attached. I did the previous one too. And now I'm going into this next one and doing the same thing. And then I'm going into this space, this chain space here, and do the same thing. So slip stitch my way to this corner so that I can start my next round. So I'm going to chain 2 just like before. I'm going to work my corner exactly the same way I did before. So 3 double crochet, including that initial chain 2. There we go. Chain 2 and 3 double crochet in this very same space. There we go. And here is my corner again. Now, if you remember from before, we worked half double crochets on the sides. Well, this time, since we already have our square shape, we are just going to work double crochet stitches. So in every space between these 3 double crochets or half double crochets, I'm going to work double crochets. And in the corners, I'm going to do the exact same thing I did here. So 3 double crochet, chain 2, and 3 double crochet. I'm just going to show you that first space. So I'm going to do 3 double crochet into that space. Like that. And I'll do 3 more here, 3 more here, and then my corner. And I'm gonna work around my square until I get here, my last 3 double crochets. And I'll meet you right here. All right, I have just done my last 3 double crochet, and I'm just going to bring my square together just like before. So insert my hook in the first stitch, kind of on the outside of my work, and just bring the yarn through. And I'm gonna cut my yarn because my granny square is done. If you wanted to, you could definitely do another round exactly the same way we did this previous one. But my granny square is done, so I'm just going to fasten off. And here we go. Here is my super cute daisy granny square. And now, because we kept working in those yarn ends as we went, I hardly have anything to weave in here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut these little yarn ends that were left here from the ones that we worked in. Very carefully because they're very short. And now I just have my first one and my last one. And with this first one, I was already holding it together with my ring when I worked the ring. So it's already been kind of worked in one way. So I'm just gonna go ahead and work it the other way. So just pick a stitch here, just making sure that it doesn't show on the right side of my work. And bring that needle through these stitches. I'm doing it this way just because the yarn end is so short. It'd be hard to get it in first and the needle first. So I'm just inserting my needle here first. And just making sure that my needle doesn't show on the other side, so it doesn't like make weird loops on the right side of my work. Just pull it a little. And I'm gonna do a couple more here. Here we go. And then I can cut that. And as well. And then I got my last one. This one hasn't been worked in at all, so I'm just gonna go to 2 different directions with this one. So I just usually go through a couple of loops here just to work my way through the bottom of this last round here. just go through here again. This is just my way of doing it. Feel free to do it a different way, whatever works for you. But I do like to make sure that I always go at least to 2 different directions so that my yarn end is secure. So I go one way like that. Let's go through a loop here. Oops, I lost my yarn there. Not a big deal. And then I go the other way. Here we go, and I pull through all those. I pull my work a lot just to make sure that I didn't pull the yarn too tight. And I'll cut that last end as well. Here we go. So here is our granny square, all finished, all the ends taken care of. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you enjoyed making your first daisy granny square. I'd love to hear what you thought, so please leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much. Have a great day.